Hey traders, John Fortune here with this week's Weekly Forex Forecast for the 14th to the 18th of January 2019. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index and oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process. I'm also going to be highlighting some of the targets that we're going to be looking for in this coming week and also for the weeks ahead. So let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. As always, starting with the US dollar index. Now we are starting the week still declining to the downside in the US dollar index. We already have a correction taking place. We came very close to the target of 94.99. And we have this correction taking place. So going into this week, very simply put, we are looking for further declines in the US dollar index. If we can get more of a pullback, and preferably if we can get a pullback and a retest of broken support, turning resistance at the 96.17, this is going to give us the best risk to reward. If we can get this kind of price action, we're going to start looking in this area for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key of support to the downside and the target set at the 94.99. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key of support to the downside and target 2 at the 94.39. So the next market we're going to look at is crude oil. Now we start the week above the key area of previous broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at 48.90. If we can get a pullback, and we're going to be looking for a correction, preferably a retest of broken resistance, turning support at 48.90. This pullback, this correction in this area is going to give us a great opportunity to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 54.75. So the first pair we're going to look at is the euro dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at the 1.13940. If we can get this continuation to the downside, if we can get a further correction in this area, this is going to provide a great opportunity to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set, the 1.1617. The next pair we're going to look at is pound dollar. Now we start the week above the key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at the 1.266290. What we'd like to see is a correction take place in the pound dollar, and preferably if we can get a pullback and a retest of broken resistance turning support, this is going to be a great place to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 1.2957. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and target 2 at the 1.3123. So next pair we're going to look at is US dollar Japanese yen. Now, since we had that flash crash, we have just gone into this kind of extended correction. And although at some point we will be looking at shorting this to the downside, as we touched on last week in last week's forecast, you do very often when you have these flash crashes see extended periods of correction. So we would be looking for continued correction going into next week. If we can get continued correction, and preferably if we can come all the way back and retest broken support from the past, turning resistance at the 110.120, this is going to be the best place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And if we get the right kind of bearish formations and patterns in that area, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target set at the 105.65. Just bear in mind what I mean when I say extended correction here is we could actually see all next week the US dollar yen still correcting into the 110, 120. So the next pair we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to potentially turn support at 0.71198. What we're going to be looking for in the Aussie dollar going into next week is for a correction to take place, preferably if we can come back and retest broken resistance, turning support at 0.71198. This would be best because it will give us the best risk to reward. And we're going to be looking at using this type of correction if we get this kind of price action for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 0.7301. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking up to the secondary target to the upside in the Aussie dollar at the 0.7347. So the next market we're going to look at is New Zealand dollar. Now we start the week above the key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at 0.67514. If we can get a correction taking place next week, this is going to be a great place, especially if we can get a retest of broken resistance turning support at 0.67514. This is going to be the best place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and the target set, the 0.6873. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and target 2, the 0.6967. So next market we're going to look at is US dollar Swiss franc. Now we start the week below a key area of broken support from the past, already turning resistance at the 0.99086. We came very close to the target set out last week, and we are still looking for further declines to the downside below the 0.99086. So very simply put, we're going to be looking for a continued correction in the US dollar Swiss franc. If we can get a continuation, and preferably if we can come back and retest, because this will give us, as I said earlier, better risk to reward. If we can get a retest of broken support turning resistance once again at the 0.99086, this would be the best place we could start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key of support to the downside and the target set at the 0.9702. And if we can get a break through this first target, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2, the 0.9635. So next pair we're going to look at is US dollar CAD. Now we've had this major sell-off in the US dollar CAD, and we're starting to form a bit of a correction. Going into this week, we are going to be looking for continued correction to the upside in the US dollar CAD. If we can get a pullback, especially as we're quite close to the first target down here, we would really like to see a deeper pullback in the US dollar CAD if we're going to be looking at shorting this down to the first target. If we can get a pullback, and preferably if we can get a retest of broken support from the past, looking to turn resistance at the 1.3373, this would be the best place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the first key area of support to the downside and the target set, the 1.3172. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target 2, at the 1.3080. And last but not least, we have gold. Now last week we were looking for a pullback and a retest of broken resistance turning support at the 128,251, which we did get, and we actually rallied from this area. So going into this week, as we start the week once again above the key area of broken resistance turning support at the 1282.51, we are looking further advances in gold. For anybody not involved last week, there is a good chance you could get one more opportunity, perhaps even another retest in this area of broken resistance turning support. And we're going to once again be looking for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and target 1, at the 1304.20. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and target 2, at the 131540. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to everybody who does that on a regular basis, and a big thank you to everybody who has already subscribed to the channel, and also those of you who regularly comment on the channel. I appreciate all of you. I want to wish you all an enjoyable weekend, every single one of you, and I want to wish you a fantastic trading week next week. The only thing left for me to say, guys, is take care and do not forget to trade safely.